Good Wednesday morning, and welcome to Ice Age TV, the internal combustion engine age YouTube channel that talks about all my dogs, or all my cars, and all my trucks, and all my SUVs, and even the wife. The wife doesn't want to be in the video, so I'm not going to do that. She's in the car, but I'm not videoing her. But hey, welcome to Ice Age TV. For all those into the craziness of the Iceman, which it is. Come on, pups, let's get over here. And for all the antics, all the adventures, all the story. And come on, pups, let's go. It's such a great vehicle, that Jeep Grand Cherokee V8 setup. The wife just loves it. Come on, let's go. Come on, get over here. Let's go. Ginger, let's go. Barn. Go to the barn. Hey, don't make me get attitude with you guys. Come on, go, 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 go. See, there's the dog supposedly. Oh, there he goes, carrying the leg. Come on, let's go. Come on, get out of Mama's way. Oh, it's the distractions, isn't it? But anyways, hey, thanks to everybody that's tuned in my channel. Good morning to everybody. What a beautiful Scout. Let's go. I tell you, he just... Ginger, stop it. They want to do the duel. It's a duel. What is this all about? Why all the attitudes? Come on, looky here. Looky here, hungry? Treats. Treats, come on. Come on, let's go, come on. Come on. Get in. The girl is harassing the boy. Look at him, look, look. Oh yeah, look. Oh, he's carrying a little bit. Maybe he's getting better, right? But anyways, the antics, the adventures, the stories, and what are we doing today, right? What's going on today with the ongoing addictions of the Iceman? It buys yet another vehicle. I mean, sincerely, but wow. What a beautiful... Let me get the dogs in. Just too much going on here this morning. The wife's kind of got the distractions here and everybody else. But let's go, pups. Come on. Look at this here. Are the vehicles mating? Look, how many Vapor Blue vehicles do I have now? Are the Mustangs mating? Did the Bronco mate and create some Vapor Blue Mustangs? Oh my gosh. Come on, pups. Let's go. It's confusing. A lot of content, a lot of information. It just doesn't end. Come on, pups. And geez, by the time I got home last night and then started making videos from the adventures of yesterday, I was very, very busy in my job yesterday, actually. So I really barely got over that. Coons Baltimore Ford for yet another Bronco. Another Bronco. This is now my 5th purchase of a Bronco. Beyond believable, even for me. If you'd have told me January 2022, when I first got my first hot pepper red Wild Track Bronco that I waited for a year and a half to get after I ordered it, that I would be into my 5th Bronco close to 2 years later, I'd be like, nah, no way. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. So let's get out here, as we always do, the storytelling. And that's what I thought the theme of today's channel is going to follow with the week's themes. We had the breakout conversations, and then we had the connection conversations yesterday. And I thought today would be the great day to have the story conversations, kind of like the Christmas story. Because for me, at this point, do I have the right attire on? Is this the Christmas week? Or what? For all the lying, for myself, really for the kid too, for everybody, right? And so look at that, another Vapor Blue, right? I mean, come on. Purple. So I have the Christmas theme. I've got purple, I've got blue, I've got gray, I've got black, I've got white. Yeah, I got gold. Yeah, I think I got the Christmas theme here just in all the vehicles. So anyways, the conversations from the breakout to get connections. Now I thought, wow, who can't relate with the fact that for every vehicle, there's always a story. Everybody here watch my channel, I guarantee you, everybody can tell a story about their car, motorcycle, whatever it may be, that relates to them and their life adventures and their vehicle adventures. And hey, got the race truck. Man almighty, I had this race truck parked over next to that trailer. The birds crapped all over this thing. I mean, it's so bad. I mean, this is just really maddening. The birds crapped all over my race truck. They're pissed. I'm pissed. What a joke. And it's so cold out. My poor race truck. Golly, right? Yeah, so anyways, I thought to myself this morning, great conversation would be stories, because This is just beyond believable, even for me, what I've pulled off. If you go from a week ago Monday, another vehicle populated my life, a 37 Raptor. So here's the 37 Raptor. Watch your channel. You know that story. There's a story. If you're watching my channel, you know that from Monday to the end of last week, Friday, there's another story. The Honda Goldwing story. Yeah, unbelievable. 2 vehicles between Monday and Friday, the work week, 5-day work week, 2 new vehicles. Now you go a week and 1 day from the purchase of the Raptor, you now have a Bronco. I have another Bronco in my life. Wow. So the story and what I'm leading up to is, do I have 30 stories to tell this year? Or should I say, did I tell 30 stories this past year? Who do you know that possibly has 30 purchase stories of cars, trucks, SUVs, motorcycles in 1 year? I mean, do I need to make the storybook, the ultimate car storybook? I mean, come on. And right now, I don't know. I'm even having to just start thinking about how many vehicles have I purchased this year. I would have to say that I'm at least at 28 vehicles, which if you watch my video, I've said it 50 times, that my goal never was in 2023 to add more vehicles and to buy more vehicles. In some ways, I was like, it's time to trim back the excess. And so many of you are like, yeah, dude, you definitely need to trim back the excess. Here we got a recall on the Harley-Davidson CVO. They're only mentioning the Street Glide, which is kind of befuddling. But the Street Glide CVO 2023 has a major recall. Apparently at 100 miles an hour or faster, if you're riding your motorcycle 100 miles an hour or faster, like my coat rack, the CVO's become the coat rack. Apparently this motorcycle gets the, I think the shimmy shake thing going on. So the pursuit of happiness to the pursuit of unhappiness to the pursuit has given Harley some of its love, where something's going on up in the front end, it sounds like. But they claim it's an engine, ECM, and it's like a counterweight. Sounds to me like a total death wobble problem. On the Street Glide, I can honestly tell you, I've ridden Street Glides over 100 miles an hour. And what I get out of those things, those bat wings, you get a lot of front end craziness because of that. It's not a fixed fairing. And I mean, I hit my Harley about 110 one day, and all of a sudden, the whole front end started, like shimmering, shaking, and then the worst thing you can do is let off the throttle, really quickly, because it can even get crazier. So, wow, yeah, that's a story to be told. But anyways, there's Harley now with maybe the Indian Pursuit Challenge. Look at the Bronco. It's beyond believable. From a 2022 Bronco Wildtrak that I ordered for the price of a 2023. And it's really $4,000 more, but really, in all reality, it's probably more like $8,000 more, because I got home last night and I didn't even realize that this doesn't have a tow package on it. Apparently, some guy ordered this. Apparently, I think. That's what they say. Even though it's a blue sticker. I thought the blue sticker meant that it was a factory order. Thought the green, it's just too complicated. Anyways, whoever ordered this, they didn't put a tow package on it. Beyond unbelievable. They put a roof rack system. That's pretty cool until you got to take the panels off. I have no idea on that. I mean, I'm sincere. I guess you got to remove that, or, I mean, I would think, but maybe not. You just pop them up. They slide up underneath there. I don't know. So this vehicle here, compared to my hot pepper red Bronco that I sold for the Raptor Bronco a year ago, November, this doesn't have adaptive cruise control. Mine did. I thought my Bronco had a heated steering wheel in my Wildtrak. That one does. I'm pretty sure. And that's what I was going to do this morning. And if you're watching the channel, my kid is so protective now of this vehicle. I mean, I'm even stumped. I mean, this is kind of like the Dodge Charger. When I brought that Dodge Charger home, she was just like all over that thing. It's mine. Dad, it's mine. I ain't sharing. It's mine. I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. I mean, really? I'm thinking, really? So the kid, I mean, if you're watching the story, of how this played out, it's beyond believable how this is now in my garage. I mean, it really is. What have I even, it's just crazy on how at the last second I got creative because Ford Motor Credit with my buddy Steve and Queens Baltimore Ford, he got a deal bought on that white Mustang that's no longer here in my driveway. It's gone. Poof. And if you're watching the video, the story, I was on trying to trade that. I've tried to trade that Mustang for a lot of things here recently and never could get the deal to go down. And then finally, my good friend Steve at Queens Baltimore Ford, he was able to get the Ford Motor Credit to really, in so many ways, bend to my advantage and not make me put a ton of money down to be able to buy something, even though I've raised my limit of their exposure. So that was quite a feat in itself. I couldn't accomplish that at Ted Britt Ford. And so it's just heavy and deep. The whole point is, it's incredible how that Ford F-450, which I never on Monday was really going to Queens Baltimore Ford to buy a vehicle, but they'd be like, oh yeah, right. Every time you go to that dealership, you end up buying something. So it goes to the lengthy, long conversation, but to make it short and sweet, we have now a Bronco that the kid has in exchange for the Mustang, which I so feel is so much the better vehicle. These Mustangs are cool. But for my daughter, she had a hard lesson February of 2022, I believe, 2021. I can't even keep track. Where my daughter was in a horrific car crash and totaled the Mustang Bullitt, the green Mustang Bullitt. So for me, anymore, I felt that was my fault because she was driving the car in February on a rainy, cold day. And I preach it all the time. These tires are not designed for the colder environment. They're not. But people drive them. I get it. But when you're on a rainy, cold day and you get yourself in dire straits to stop it, it ain't stopping. And that's what happened to my wife. That's how my daughter. So the point of that is, I'd much rather have my daughter driving around more in a bigger, nicer vehicle than a Mustang, even though those are the toys. Even though, yes, the Ford F-450 is over here. The piped mega cab is over here, and she just loves those. But that mega cab's such a big vehicle. And for the record, those big ass tires on those vehicles on the rainy days, you just are all over the road. That Tremor truck over there, that thing's the worst on a rainy day. That truck is just slipping inside an arbor place. They're just crappy big ass tires. But here's the thing. That Ram 2500 truck is just the whole story. If you're really watching my channel, you'll know that over a year ago, I dismantled something on that truck, and that truck disappeared. And I didn't know if I was going to get that truck back. Yes, if you're watching my channel, you'll be very aware of the conversation I'm talking about, if you're paying attention right now, that I did something to that truck, and then I gave it to somebody, and I started to think that this was such a shady operation that I may never see that truck again. It was bad. So that's a whole other story. So everybody here watching the channel knows I have a story, the race truck. This race truck, I gave up my Shelby custom ordered race truck that I bought. I mean, I waited close to a year. I was told one of 280 being built worldwide. I ordered a nice Shelby Super Snake Sport truck, two-door lowered and supercharged, badass truck, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then at the end of the day, you can still buy one. It was supposed to be a one-year run. Whip-de-doo-dah. But I gave it up, even though I love trucks. Can you tell? I love trucks. I grew up in a two-door truck. I love the two-door trucks. They're such a fun thing. Never knowing that Queens Baltimore Ford has this thing sit in the back lot that's a challenge to modify it and customize it because of suspension components are on back order, and this thing's sitting dead in the water. And at the end of the day, after giving up my Super Snake truck, I only get back the race truck, which is actually half the price. Half the price. And it's more fun than that Shelby Super Snake truck I had. Wow. But you mean just stories upon stories. Here's a black Ford Bronco Raptor that a year ago I had a cactus gray Raptor. And that goes back to November of last year, where I had a hot pepper red Bronco that I have tons of videos on. I show you how to put the exhaust on, mud flaps on, how to put brake controller on for for you to have electric brake control for your towing capabilities. I show you how to do the tailgate install for the, this is really close. I show you how to do the tailgate install. I show you how to do the back thing install, which will show you in the next truck. So I have a lot of video and content of these Broncos and me doing how-to videos to make your vehicle that much cooler. So a year ago, in November, Kuhn's Baltimore Ford gets a brand new Cactus Gray first in the area Raptor, and I'm so resistant to get rid of that Hot Pepper Red. Because I thought that Hot Pepper Red would be a vehicle I really thought that would be a vehicle I kept. But yep, sure enough, here comes the Raptor. And of course, Iceman, what do you got to do? You guys always have the latest, greatest. That's the challenge. That's what these car companies do to you. They turn the addiction into something that has to be bigger and better next year, so you want to get rid of what you have for the bigger and better. Some people are like, I hate that crap, and I don't play the game. But a lot of people do play the game. So here is the stories of the Broncos, being that I've now had the Hot Pepper Red Wildtrak 4-door. I've had the Cyber Yellow 2-door. Those vehicles disappeared. So that was 2 purchases. Then I bought the Cactus Gray Raptor. 3rd purchase. Then I sold the Cactus Gray because I wanted the Jeep Grand Wagoneer, which is down there. And then just to turn around, not even a week later, I buy back a black Raptor, which I actually like the black package better than the Cactus Gray for me. That's a 4th Bronco. It's only turned around now, and here now is the number 5 purchase of the Bronco. So if you watch my channel, you say, wow, this guy, he sells the same thing to buy back the same thing. The guy sells his cars only to turn around and just buy the same thing back, but it's just a different color. Are you figuring this out yet? All right, so here's look at what's going on. So even for me, when I first got my Hot Pepper Red Bronco Raptor, which is Bronco, so this is the exact same vehicle I got, different color, optioned out a little differently. So this is the Wildtrak. I think the bang for the buck, this is the smartest thing you can buy for the money spent. This is an awesome vehicle. You can get lesser trims, manage your money. It's the nicest package, fun, great vehicle. I love the vehicle. I could easily sell my Raptor and just have this and be very happy. I could sell my Raptor and just get another Wildtrak and cut my payment in half and be extremely happy. If I was probably smart, I would do that. But we're not doing that today. So you look at the Raptor, and I never even wanted to look at the Raptor. So right after right when I was getting ready to get my Hot Pepper Red Bronco, they told me I could put my name on the list for the Raptor if I waived my order on the Wildtrak. And I was like, when would I get the Raptor? They're like, it may be another 8-10 months. I'm like, nope, forget it. I'm out. I don't want anything to do with that Raptor. I don't even want to watch it. I didn't even watch the videos. I don't want nothing to do with it because I love my Hot Pepper Red. Chili Hot Pepper Red is what I called it. For after that, the band, I loved that vehicle. It was a phenomenal vehicle. I have videos of me towing, going to Florida, going to Tennessee. Oh my gosh, awesome vehicle. Only in the end to end up freaking sacrificing it for a Raptor, which even for me, if you watch my channel, you'll see last year that I walked away from the deal. I came to closure I could buy a Raptor because I could drive it, have fun with it, and probably sell it 6 months or a year later and still get what I paid for it, which I did. I did all that. So here's the thing. So what's the difference? I mean, sincerely, why are people so, overwhelmed with the Raptor? Even for me, I was not even in touch with the Raptor product, knowing what the Raptor product is. I truly thought the Raptor product was a bigger machine. I thought it was literally a bigger inside interior, a bigger cab, a bigger footprint. That's how out of touch I was with the Raptor truck. I thought it had the 3.5 liter twin turbo Raptor motor. So just totally, nope, I just don't know much about it. So when I got more into detail of that Raptor, then I started looking at, and I come to realize these big fender flares and the wider suspension, which it does have, tend to make you think that's a bigger vehicle than this Wildtrak. So and part of me was like, if I can get a bigger interior, bigger footprint, I thought maybe the Raptor was riding off the Raptor Ford F-150 suspension. I didn't know any of that stuff because I didn't want to know. Because I don't have to buy a freaking Raptor. It'd be $100,000. I bought my first Bronco for $62,000, fully loaded, with every option you could get. And yet I just showed you the sticker on this here. This thing optioned out in comparison to my Raptor, my Bronco I bought. I guarantee you that would be $72,000 to $74,000. I guarantee it. Optioned out the same way would be my guess. I could be wrong. I'd say 70 conservative. So anyway, so here we are. So if you look at the Ford Bronco, and for those who aren't Ford enthusiasts, this Bronco product has been an extremely successful product throughout the years of Ford. It came out back in, I guess, the late 60s and early 70s. I'm not the heritage guy on the Bronco, so I'm not that in depth on the Bronco from the early days. I was never even fixated on Bronco because it was just a two-door, to me, very short. I just never was into that type of vehicle. I wanted the FJ Cruiser Toyota product over that. So anyways, so looking here at the differences. What are the differences? Well, first of all, you can tell. Look at the fender flares. And some people think the fender flares on the Bronco Raptor are gaudy. And in some ways, they are. The tires, immediately, if you look at the tires, this is a 35-inch tire package, which, wow, to have a 35-inch tire package on a factory, SUV, that's beyond believable. Well, they went to a 37 on the Raptor. They had to up it to that's a 37 tire wheel package. This has the beadlock wheel set up. That does not. So that's pretty cool. That's actually a little extra money, but I think you have to buy something else to make that really be a bead lock, I think. All right, so if you look at the tires and wheels, really it's more about the tires. Look at the fender flares. Now, let's look at the taillights. See this taillight here? Look at what they did with the taillight on the Bronco Raptor. It's a little more cool look to it. You walk up front here, and you look at the front grille, and it says Bronco across the grille. This has a camera, but it doesn't have the adaptive cruise for the trail, the back trailing, where you can turn on the camera to see what's going on in front of you. It's pretty cool. So this opens up the door to have a winch kit on it. If we wanted to, a factory winch kit setup. I think this has, I don't know, does this have the modular? Yeah, I think that is. There's different bumpers here and just a lot of information. But I think that bumper may or may not be ready to go. I don't know. I have to look into that. Can't remember. All right, so now you see the Bronco Ford logo, and you walk up front here to this Ford Bronco Raptor. And one thing that Ford does is to separate the Raptor product from the regular non-Raptor product is they have the front grille say Ford all the way across. That's a signature of the Raptor product. Look over here. This is a Raptor. It's pretty cool. I have two Raptors here. Same thing. When you go up to the other Ford products, it doesn't have that big Ford thing as your big advertising billboard in front of the vehicle. You look at the front of the hood. Look at the front of the hood. Look how much more performance-oriented that hood is versus you go in here to the Wildtrak. And then here's also, look at the driving lights down below. This has really cool driving lights. This does have the adaptive cruise control in it, so this makes it more difficult to put a front winch on it. You can. There's kits, I know that. So you walk down the line here, and this actually has the factory running board because you really need it because it's such a higher step. It's a higher vehicle. So you go over here, look at the hood. The hood, Wildtrak sticker on it. You go to the engine, and we pop the hood. It's just a rat's nest. It's not really anything really to look at. To me, they need an engine cover on these Broncos because it's just hideous. It's hideous on the engine, how it looks. Back here, you can see I've got a tow package. This has got the heavier duty setup for you towing. You can tow up to like 4,000 pounds. Got the Raptor signature. And then if you go here, we open this up, you'll see that I've already done the trail gator on this vehicle, which is really cool. One thing I like about the Bronco product, when it rains out, let's see if it does this. You see that? It pisses all over you. Yes, and that wasn't bad at all. Usually it's pretty bad. I've got this really cool slide out box that I can keep all my tools and all my components. I show people how to put that really cool. I love that box. It takes away a lot of storage in the back of your vehicle. That's really cool. I really love the tailgater where, if I can get it to pop out without me having to put my things down here. So look at this here. This is so cool. It's really interesting. That's showing a little rust. That's actually a magnet where you can take your tools or whatever, and it magnetizes your tools so you can have your screwdrivers, wrenches, whatever. And then if you want to grill, let's just say you got a little barbecue or something. Here's another really cool feature here. You can put your coffee down here like I'm going to do. And so I just love that setup, because these Broncos, like the Jeeps, there's so many things you can do to accessorize them. So now when you come up to the front of the vehicle, this has the more of the Raptor theme interior as far as just the look. But it's the same exact vehicle as far as the cab. There's nothing different from that one, the Raptor, from the Wildtrak. I put in these little side things to hold your water bottles. I show many videos of me installing a little electronic brake controller if you want to do towing with the electric hookup. But this truck here, you have to literally pull yourself up in this truck to get in this truck. And that was one thing that was holding me back on the Raptor purchase. And then back here, and Kiefer got me. I mean, it's so unfortunate. Kiefer got my little back seat back there. Look at that. So, it's just, as I'm telling the kid, got to get a bunch more of these. The dog, even she's like, I know, I don't want the dog wrecking my interior. Different color theme. So there's that. Same hardtop as far as that goes. Same mirrors as far as that goes. Now we go over here. One thing I really loved about my Wildtrak, I didn't have running boards, and it was a really clean look. So if you look at this here, it's really clean look on the vehicle. And what you can do is you can literally get in this truck. I can just slide into this truck. I can get in, and it's not a problem for me to get in the truck. So it's easier in and out. Like my dad, last December, a year ago, I had my Cactus Gray Bronco down there in Florida, and my poor dad, he was having to, literally crawl in the thing and crawl out of it. Felt bad for him. But anyways, a whole different color theme on this interior. You can see that it doesn't have like the Raptor accents, the Raptor little thing on the steering wheel. But it's all the same. Once again, it's the same vehicle, but it has a different suspension, different tires. This has the 3.0 liter twin turbo motor, high output. This has a 2.7 twin turbo motor, plenty powerful. These things just roll down the road like nothing. Tires are really good tires. I've put on my last Raptor about 12,000 miles, and those tires were phenomenal. All right, so take this here, and we can close this back up. Hopefully, it's always a little tricky sometimes. So it just slams in like that, which is really cool. Put this back down, and we go back up here to the interior. You'll see this has the Bronco. See, it has here the red. That's a signature thing for the Raptor. For your off-road Baja, and you know where your steering wheel is, what they're saying. You can see the Raptor trim, the aesthetics. It's more aesthetic. It kind of has the red, stitching. So it gives it a little bit more of that, pizzazz, if you know what I mean by that. This has the adjustable exhaust on it. So when you start it up, it has a really good note to it, but you can go into your settings and you can change the way the vehicle sounds by hitting this button right here. And what we'll do here is we'll start up this vehicle just to give everybody the wah-wah shish kumbah. The difference is exhaust. This is a factory exhaust. I really want to do a new exhaust on that, but this one here, I just have a hard time doing anything because I think it sounds so good. Let's see if it. Okay, so that's just regular note exhaust. So we get inside the car and we have it open up a little bit. You realize it's more about driving down the road more than necessarily, let's see if we can get it to do it. It's never easy here making all these adjustments when you try to show people stuff. So let's see here. So does it go? There you go. So it changed out a little bit, but it doesn't really sound, per se, really that much louder. So now, let's go over here. Same thing. We'll start her up. And so in that, it sounds very mundane. But in all reality, when you're going down the road, it does have a really nice, throaty note to it. So let's start with this. But what I want to do with this, I have a how-to video on how to do an AE exhaust that comes out the side here, and it's a really nice exhaust. So see here, this isn't bad. I mean, considering this is a V6 setup, so not too shabby. And that's why I'm gonna go to Max Custom Garage this time though, and I'm gonna let him do all the work, because I did that, man. You know, it's just crawling around your hands and knees, and it's very it gets old, if you know what I mean, on that. So between the differences of the vehicles, for most people, the first thing you're really going to see is these big flares that make a big difference, and then you have this right here. This is really cool. That's notched out. So the Raptor has, to me, the batter ass look to it. It's a beefier looking vehicle. But this here, once again, this really, anybody out there that's wanting a vehicle, I would tell anybody that's on the market for an SUV and they said, do I buy a Jeep Wrangler or do I buy a Bronco? Bronco. These things are not a dime a dozen yet in the field. They're still holding respectable value. Yes, they're starting to discount them because they're starting to get populated in lots. But overall, I can't emphasize enough that the package you get, and yeah, there's people who say they're junk, there's been motor failures, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, whatever. I mean, you know, it gets heavy and deep. Everybody's had challenges. But the whole point is, I would buy the Bronco because it's just much more comfortable riding vehicle, because I talk about it all the time. It has a front independent suspension. The front independent suspension in this vehicle kills on the road maneuvers a Jeep, like this Jeep Mojave over here. This thing walks because it has a solid front axle. So, I mean, it's not like death-defying end of the world, but this vehicle here, it doesn't handle as well as the Bronco does on the road. It doesn't. And if you want to argue about that, whatever. Okay, I'm glad you're happy with your vehicle that walks down the road. Whatever. For me, I have different vehicles. I have different experiences, so I know. And do I own a Jeep? I do. Would I have a 392 Jeep? I would. Can I buy it? I don't know. It gets heavy and deep. So, all right, let's get upstairs here. As always, it's always about the adventure and always about the stories. And I'm freezing my hands off. And you're probably getting sick and tired looking at the damn Broncos, right? As the breakout. What happened to the breakout deal? Well, in all sincereness, the breakout deal is there for me. Yes. I haven't really talked about that. But the Harley-Davidson breakout deal is there on the table if I want it. Yeah. So if I did that deal, I would think definitely a 30 purchase. In all sincereness, I have an RG3 deal if I want it. So, oh my gosh. So yesterday it's like, which way do I go? Because I really wanted to get the deal done with Ford, because that took some really high-powered people to come to closure to let the Iceman have that deal. That was not easy. My friend spent like 45 minutes on the phone with Ford. And then my other friend spent like an hour up there at Chesapeake Harley-Davidson for the breakout. So the deal he has is he's very aggressive. Right now, if I want to go to, it's dangerous If I want to go to Chesapeake Harley today and buy a breakout leftover, there's a deal there that I could do by giving up the Street Bob and getting very healthy number on the Street Bob because he's discounting the hell out of his leftover breakout. So, but it's the same story. It's Harley Davidson. High interest rates. It's just so bad. I mean, what is Harley Davidson doing? What is their story? Harley Davidson, that's just literally, I'm not lying to you. I can get 8.99% financing from Freedom Road, Harley Davidson, it goes to 22%. Even with me going down to 48 months. So he quoted me a deal on 84 months. I'm like, I don't 84 months. I said, let's look at like 48 or 60. Do I get like a 13, 14% rate? He's like, at 48 months, they'll give you 22%. I'm like, that is so stupid that I'm cutting the loan in half and you're telling me that they're going to only give me 2 points? It's so bad. What is going on with Harley? I'd have to assume Harley Davidson Financial has a lot of bad stories. That would be my assumption. So, my transition glasses, see in the winter months, they don't transition back because of that really cold, blah, 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 cold things. I really want to get the Maroony sticker out for my other Bronco and just compare the differences of what those vehicles had, but I'm not going to do that right now because I'll have to go digging through the trove of all those boxes over there to figure that out. But there's one thing for sure, the Harley Davidson dealerships, they definitely are sitting on a lot of product. So the Atlas Silver breakout that I really like at the Skyline Harley Davidson out there in Winchester, they have 2 of those Atlas Silver breakouts, which I think it's a really cool color. But even though I still love that white one, I mean, I still could go finagle a deal for a white one over there at that Baltimore Harley Davidson. But it's really coming down to the damn Pursuit thing. The Pursuit thing is holding everything up. The Pursuit thing, once Indian would buy out that Indian Pursuit, it would open the door for me to go buy a really nice breakout and get an incredible rate. And it would make a lot of sense. But the problem is, Indian, corporate, I can guarantee you at the holidays here, I'm sure we're into the first of the year for that bike is resolved. And the whole point of bringing that up is Freedom Road has 3 loans. They have 2 Indians in that Triumph in the deal, and they're not going to give me another loan. So they're like, you have to pay a loan off, give something up for us to give you a loan. And so if the Indian Pursuit was paid off by Indian, there you go. That opens the door for me to use Freedom Road. And what's incredible is I literally got Skyline Harley in so many ways to activate their Freedom Road relationship yesterday. I called Chris over there, the GM, the GSM, and he said they had applied to be a dealer for them a while back, and it still hadn't been finalized. Well, yesterday he made a phone call. He called me back and said, hey, man, great news. We're set up with them. So if you want to get rid of something. So then I said, okay, what's the Indian Challenger Elite worth? So now at Baltimore Harley Davidson Saturday, they said if I was to trade that, which, yeah, I hear you loud and clear, I traded that. I'm a numbskull. So they told me 24 grand was the most recent auction, whatever you want to call it, price. So yesterday, I took pictures of the bike, and then he reached out to all the different buyers and blah, blah, blah. So they came back at 23.5. I'm like, are you kidding me, man? Are you taking 10 grand off that breakout? I'm like, if you take 10 grand off that breakout, then yeah, I think I probably could do the deal, because then I'd feel like you gave me 30 grand for my trade on my, yeah, that ain't going to happen. He doesn't have this type of numbers, that type of bike. Whole point is, it's been unbelievable. People are going to go buy a brand new 2024 Indian Pursuit, brand new with a different color scheme on it and a different audio system on it, and they're going to pay 40 grand for it. It's 38 and change for that bike. Then they're going to kick in the back end fees, shipping, setup and freight, blah, 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 administration fee, blah, 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 sales tax. You'll be at $42,000. And yet here I've got mine for sale on Marketplace, and not many people are biting on it because I'm wanting a pretty good number on it, but at the same time, right. So the Challenger Elite, be so lucky to have one. Only 250 made. There's only, per se, one on the docket that's ever even been sold, because most people keep them. They don't get rid of them. And what was a fool to give that thing away, right? Be like, yeah, well, you're probably next in line, right, Mr. Iceman, for the stories that continue. So, the stories we all here can relate with everything we own and with material things, especially cars and motorcycles. And once again, I've talked about it so many times on my channel. The stories that come with these vehicles that we have such an addiction, attachment, and I'm sure there's people who aren't watching my channel because they don't have that type of addiction. They have a different type of addiction, something else. Which, everybody has challenges. I know all that. So, what's the story? What's the storyline every day in the headline news? I mean, sincerely, where are we in today's society? The storylines. What do you see on the YouTube channel? It's just, I talk about it all the time. It's the doom and gloom. Maybe I should just start making doom and gloom videos. I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, do you sell your soul? I mean, that's what I think to people is, are you selling your soul just to try to make money off of YouTube by just misleading people on information all the time? Because it just befuddles me that Koons Baltimore Ford, they're not going out of business. They're still selling a ton of cars. Has the market changed? It has. Do people still come to the dealership and buy cars? They do. Do people still get deals and get approved? They do. Do some people walk away? They do. But when you watch the YouTube world, you'll be totally convinced that most car dealers are going to be filing bankruptcy and going out of business. And what's really interesting is all the doom and gloom of everybody that has these YouTube channels. You go to your local, go look up bankruptcies. Just look up bankruptcies and just see how many people are filing bankruptcy. There's public record of that. There's public record for business. From what I'm seeing in the area I live, for the most part, people say it's the government area. I don't disagree, but there's still people that make stupid decisions. Yeah, don't be pointing the finger at me. I get it by all means. Oh, hey, here is the famous Mustang Bullitt shifter knob that I removed the day I went and signed the paperwork to release the Mustang Bullitt that was to be totaled. That never, a guy bought it, that actually seen my channel, that restored that whole Mustang Bullitt, lives in Florida, back to original. So it didn't have as bad a damage as some may thought it had. And it's one of those things when you have a really bad car accident, it's a fine line of where you're going into the unknown and you start trying to fix a car and then it's never the same. But I took, if you're watching my channel, hey man, I got the shifter knob that I took off before that car was taken away to be auctioned off as a scrap car, I guess, whatever the technology is. But I took that out of the car yesterday when I got there, the Mustang, and that car drove weird. I don't know what's going on with that. That car just drove weird yesterday. I don't know. Maybe in the wind. I don't know. It's just car didn't feel right. But anyway, so back to the storylines. What are the storylines in our society today more than ever? I mean, it's just, in my eyes, it's confusing. Because in one aspect, you hear all these YouTubers saying the housing market's in a crash, the car market's crashing, food prices are through the roof, inflation's through the roof. But on the other end, you see the stock market that is back close to 38,000. You're hearing about record profits in some aspects, and the list goes on and on and on. So, how do you follow a true story? And then, to me, is this in modern times the biggest story headline should be that we have two of the most corrupt individuals ever in office? Because on the one side of the party, you're going to say Donald Trump is the most corrupt president that ever was to be in office. On the other hand, you're going to hear people say Joe Biden is the most corrupt president in office. So isn't it incredible that we live in the time where the main theme of the two different parties is your guy is the most corrupt guy in the world. And then the other side is, no, your guy. Who elected these people? I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, it's just this, does anybody just get sick of this crap? Does anybody really want Joe Biden and Donald Trump to be the two nominees? I mean, sincerely, do we? And I get it. For those Trump supporters not here bashing Trump, I get it. You can put a different political person in place of Donald Trump, And what I've talked about it. Elon Musk. Elon Musk is the punching bag. Elon Musk is the punching bag right now. And in some ways, I guess Elon's maybe trying not to be like the Donald Trump in some ways and mouth off too much, because between the SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission, that's challenging him to come back into court for the third time in San Francisco to talk about how he laundered this money, in their view, to get $44 billion to buy out Twitter, that's being challenged. So right now, there's some unhappy people that really want to try to just, tear him a new what? You know what that means, right? So there's SEC. Then you go to the media machine, the so-called woke control media machine. We just heard how he responded to that by telling everybody to F themselves, that from his anti-Semitic comment that he retracted, but he still told everybody to go F themselves. It's trying to control his channel. Then you go to the FCC. And I've talked about this here last week. What is the story? What is the real story right now? The FCC, that the Federal Communications Commission, FCC, just so you know what that means, those are the people that oversee the telecommunications, the internet service providers. And I talked about it on how Kamala Harris released a letter last week, or I should say back in the middle of November, that they have passed a new FCC ruling that now has stricter guidelines for the internet service providers to bring net zero internet capability, meaning that the capability for internet for everybody's equal. And I tell you what, when I go to Florida, down there at my parents' house, their internet sucks. It sucks. I even upgraded my parents' internet for the download and upload capability. When I'm down there, I've talked about it, if you really watch my channel, I can make a video at 8 o'clock in the morning. It doesn't post till midday usually because of their internet sucks. It doesn't upload these videos. And I even called Bright House, Smartass, or whatever you call the damn operation that controls these communities, and asked them to give us a better service. And we had to raise the monthly fee to do that. And the end result is it was no better than it was before. And so the whole point is the FCC is mandating that these internet service providers, they have to start providing equal capabilities, equal speeds, equal service, blah, 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 on a level playing field to enable the rich and the poor to have the same type of capability. Basically, it's like the FCC being the government of the cars, and everybody has to have the same level of a car for the same price. And now the automotive manufacturers have to build the same type of vehicle that appeases to everybody, because they can't afford to build expensive cars anymore because people can't afford them. And then the government in so many ways controls that you just have to have a mediocre car like everybody else. And that's what they're doing with FCC in so many ways. But it's a direct hit against Elon Musk, who just opened up Starlink here in the last year or so, that may have been a little longer that is creating people an opportunity to escape the hard cabled wiring from your local service company, and you can break out and get satellite service. But it's more money, but it's Elon's control of the internet service provider, which FCC wants a handle on. And then, as I said, in that really fine, and this is worldwide. I mean, this is the type of thing that they're trying to help. They're trying to make it so that more of the world adapts to the internet service capability in these very rural areas and very low-income areas. South Africa. Just go to all the different demographics on the world. The infrastructure is like, yeah, right. But anyways, the whole point is that the FCC has in very fine print that they can borderline control free speech. The way, if you read the language, in so many ways, the FCC can have an overreach and in some ways maybe shut down a company like X. Does that play out? I don't know. But once again, I've talked about it numerous times. People say you're always fixing on Elon Musk. Well, it's because Elon Musk, he in some ways is the Donald Trump. And why do I say that? It's because this guy's a very spoken individual that gets a lot of attention, And he's on the radar screen because of his, in so many ways, views and ideology. Some people go, yeah, but Trump isn't that. The point is that Trump's been beaten to death. And once they're done with him, which now apparently Colorado is saying that Donald Trump can't be on the ballot if he becomes the candidate for the GOP to run for presidency. So, and Vivek Ramsey is going to follow with him and not. I just think Vivek's is Vivek. If Trump gets picked as the nominee, is Vivek the VP? I mean, I could see him doing that because that would just give him that chance to maybe be the next president. He can be VP and learn more and figure out things more. I don't know. It gets deviant and then feel like you think Trump's get reelected. So you actually think he has to be running? I mean, it's the way it's going right now. I'd have to say the odds are that Trump's probably be the nominee. I mean, it's certainly playing that way, even though the whole Democratic Party is trying to do everything they can to make it so that guy can't run by putting him in jail. So, wow. What about Joe? Why doesn't Hunter and Joe? I mean, yeah, it gets heavy and deep. Forget that. Anyways, the whole point of that conversation, the story is the story of Elon Musk. I think we're going to hear the story of Elon Musk more than ever in 2024 because of his, we all know, what was the big story in the electric automotive industry? The Cybertruck. It's huge. What's the big story on an ongoing basis? The SpaceX. Most recently, what's getting a lot of attention, the story, is Optimus. The walking robots, which Elon Musk is actively pursuing at a very quick pace. And what's the other story of Elon Musk? He created Grok, Grok, the generative pre-trained transformer, aka ChatGPT, aka artificial intelligence, to continue to grow and populate, and in so many ways, what he'll have control of. So I just think that Elon Musk in 2024 is going to be a super, super big target because he has the capability to spread the freedom of speech. And is that going to be acceptable for the agendas to hear the free speech? Of where a lot of people are going to step up and say, I don't support what the media machine is trying to tell everybody that everybody supports. And that's the danger, where the whole freedom of speech thing gets very dangerous because the media wants you to believe that everybody believes in this certain agenda, but the real truth is they don't. Like the electric vehicles. Could electric vehicles be an exact example of where we are on how Ford and GM and these manufacturers went out of their way to build electric vehicles, but yet the masses aren't accepting it. So in so many ways, that's an exact example of where we are in so many would say the brainwashing of the media machine that gets people to buy into what they think so many think is right and true, but it's all false. It gets heavy and deep as always. So now is the next? Do I go down on the breakout? Do I go down in just the record of me buying something in 1 month? Do I just do what is the record? I really need to go back and start counting through every vehicle, every story I've told this year, and how many stories have I told? I wonder if anybody's really watched my channel could actually respond and say, I know exactly how many vehicles you've bought, and this is how many stories you told. That would be pretty cool. And as always, I just got 100 more stickers in for the Ice Age TV. Now, the daughter was resisting to put this on her vehicles. I told her, this is unbelievable. Do you hear me? The kid, but she claims she doesn't like the way it looks. So if Mr. Sanchez is out there, he's probably like, yeah, I like the other Ice Age YouTube actual generated sticker. Looks like the real YouTube signature logo. That's the better looking one. I like this one because it tells you what it is. It's the Internal Combustion Engine Age TV channel, which that's what it's all about. I mean, come on. For the most part, that's what I talk about every day of my life, right? What do I buy every day of my life besides another freaking new vehicle that has an ICE engine, right? Is that like a double standard there? It has ice in it. So, anyways, Ice Age TV comments at gmail.com. And another gentleman reached out yesterday. I got to bang out a nice letterhead, or I should say an envelope, for him to get his stickers. And I hope everybody else got their stickers that didn't get them. And I know some did. because I put some money in there, and does somebody have the technology to see money through an envelope? Probably. I guess that goes on too. So anyways, wrap it up. Is there any more adventures? Oh, there's always an adventure. And do I take the Bronco Wild Track, or does the kid, to get a window tint, which would be number 76? Yeah, wow. All right, so wrap it up. Everybody's always, Christmas is right around the corner. 'Tis the season to be merry and jolly. So I hope everybody's having a great time, because we should be just happy as can be, right? Hey, everybody, God bless. Stay safe, and stay tuned for more Ice Age TV adventures.